Hello, me and Abby here. We're at the Schuster Center tonight for Alton Brown Eat Your Science Tour. Yay! Why are you so bashful? Anyways, I don't know much about what's gonna go on. I know they sing some songs, they do some other stuff. Let's enjoy it tonight. Here's the stage setup. Wow, this is screwed up. There we go. I don't know. Like the lighting changed on it all of a sudden, just like it screwed up the brightness. I don't know what the deal is with that. Sorry about that. This is so huge. Look, you see the stars.
So as you can see, we went on a trip. We went to see Alton Brown, but at that point in time, they wouldn't let us film, would they? No filming inside. They said you could take pictures. I took some pictures for it, and them now. Yeah. So we're going to discuss what you saw in those photos. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
No videos allowed. So let's talk about it. He came out and sang a song, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Out the gate.
Science, heck yeah.
Science, heck yeah. It's a pretty exciting song. Kind of rocky. Come out with electric guitar. I wasn't expecting that. I knew I heard something about him singing songs and stuff, but I really wasn't sure what to expect. What do you think about the song?
I liked it. I kept singing it though. It was stuck in my head the whole time. Except when he would sing other songs, and then those got stuck in my head too.
That's true. His first bit, it was almost like a comedy routine, I would say. Somebody tweeted him and asked him if he was a food god. And he said, no, Anthony Bourdain is the food god, right? So, but if something would ever happen to him, he would gladly step in and be the food god.
And then he was talking about other Food Network people.
Yeah, other Food Network people that, he's like, well, Guy Fieri can't be because he's the mayor of Food Town, right? So he can't be a god and the mayor at the same time.
I thought somebody was about he's the god of eyebrows.
Oh, that was who's the guy that does Throwdown? Bobby Flay.
Yeah, Bobby Flay's the god of eyebrows.
And Giada, whatever her name is, the other one on there.
She's the god of teeth.
God of teeth. So it was really funny. The comedy was good. It's well thought out, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, food god. He said if he was food god, the first thing he would get rid of, or the first thing he would change would be, boom, tortilla chips. What would he want to do to tortilla chips?
He would make them be able to hold like 500 times their weight.
500 times their own weight.
The story you told was hilarious.
Tell a little bit about the story.
You.
Well, he said, he's like, you try to, the chips, salsa companies are all together cahoots because,
and
salsa's,
chocolate pudding.
He said different things that he likes to dip with the tortilla chip. He said he's watching his neighbor's dog, and sometimes he likes to get up in the middle of the night and get a snack, and standing naked in front of the fridge. He said he found this bag of tortilla chips and he needed something to dip it in because he's a dipper. So he's looking through the fridge and he found some that caramel sauce for the apples. And he dipped it, he got in there and dipped it, and he almost got it to his mouth, then a chip broke.
Fell
down on the ground. And this time he forgot that he was watching his neighbor's dog, so he bent over to get the pick up the chip, and at the same time, the dog, he said that never moves. Right.
Yeah, the dog hadn't moved. He said like for 17 hours. And then he drops the chip on the floor and then the dog decides to move.
So if you get, and he said it's almost like a perfect line, the fridge, him, and the dog. So if you get the notion of what's going on here, the chip is in front of him.
The dog is behind him.
The dog is behind him. It was very, yeah. Why are you getting out of camera?
Because it's weird.
Anyways, so he wants tortilla chips to be stronger.
Yes.
Second thing. No more kids menus because you don't need to give choices because that gives children power. We do not want children to have power. The adults should have the power.
The stories he told were hilarious.
You know, about the pendulum swinging and kids having choices. It's a good idea. They have to eat off the adult menu. They only get the adult choices. They don't get chicken nuggets. They don't get hot dogs. They don't get pizza. They don't get...
He was telling a story, and he was like, so the parents didn't want to go, they didn't want to make any food, so they got in their minivan, and they went to the restaurant where there was a ton of other minivans, and they let the kids order off the children's menu, and they wanted chicken nuggets. And then, a week later, Mom made the pot roast or whatever, and then everybody liked it. And then, that day, she put it out on the table, and the kids were like, we want chicken nuggets.
So you gave the kids an option when you go to the restaurant. They think they've got an option at home. Anyways, number 3 on the food god list would be rats taste like bacon.
Ooh.
So we got whatever, rats outnumber humans by tons of. So it would in hunger strike, if world hunger, if rats taste like bacon and people could eat the rats because they, you know, if they were edible and you know,
and he
taste like bacon. Then he, you know, asked what?
He asked if anybody didn't like bacon. So he was like, raise your hand if you don't like bacon. And like, there's 2 kids like raised their hand, and one, she was like 11, and then the other one was 12. And then an adult raised her hand, and it was the mom of the 11-year-old that didn't like bacon. And they like zoomed in on her. And it was funny because they were like talking to her, and like her boyfriend liked bacon, and then she was like, I'm vegetarian.
So he said, you know, it's not that you don't like bacon, it's
You don't eat.
you just don't want to eat it. And she's, it was pretty funny. Guess you had to be there. But he was picking on her pretty hard, you know. He's like, if you don't like bacon, you're just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So then he goes into this thing about mixology, where, you know, you mix drinks and stuff, and the guy mixes him a, you know, I don't remember what drink it was. I forgot to write it down. Was it a Manhattan or something?
Yeah.
I think it's a Manhattan. And he takes a drink of it. Then he brings somebody up on the stage, you know, and they ask the lady what she wants to drink, and she names off something that's not a cocktail, because he's doing cocktails, which is a 3-part drink. And she finally comes up with something. And he's like, oh, you didn't read the paper we made you sign, because you drink what?
You don't get a choice.
You don't get a choice on what you get to drink. So they bring out this wheel. It's got 3 different sections on it. One is the alcohol. One is like the base, and, you know, the 3 parts of a mixed drink. So she spun the wheel. I mean, you had to do it 3 times. First thing she got was rum. So they used Captain Morgan rum. The second thing she spun was, what was it, pumpkin spice latte?
Yeah.
From that one major coffee place. And then the third thing she got was
chair.
It's a cranberry liqueur or something, I think it was.
Cranberry something.
Yeah. So it was kind of like a Thanksgiving kind of drink. And so they mixed it all up, and she acted like she actually wanted to drink it, didn't
Yeah,
she?
because, like, he was like, look at it, and then he went to put it up to her nose for her to smell it, and she was like, and he pulled it away from her. He was like, what is wrong with you?
So this is where the science comes in, because he said, hey, what if I told you I can make this drink better? By science. Right? And what did he use?
Dry ice.
No. Liquid nitrogen.
Liquid nitrogen. They
So-
both like smoke.
Hey, boy, smoke. So, get in the screen, child. So he took the table and flipped it upside down because it's made out of aluminum. It's the stainless steel table. It's got aluminum on the bottom. So they poured liquid nitrogen in it, and then they spritz the drink over the top of it like in a mist. So it turns into a, what am I looking for? Snow cone kind of effect. So she tries it. It wasn't bad, was it?
And
Apparently,
then she tried the regular one.
she tried the regular one. Said she liked the regular one better.
And then she double dog dared him to drink it.
Then the crowd started chanting, "Drink it, and he chugged the whole rest of it.
And then like halfway through the show, he like was like, "Oh, I burped up the drink."
That had to have been. I mean, to chug it, it was probably nasty. Just think about chugging coffee with rum in it. Anyways, that was the mixology science part. That was pretty. It was very funny, very funny. It went on for a while, probably half hour.
But that was a good thing because it was awesome.
We're over 10 minutes. We gotta go. So then he took a break. He come out and he sang a song, and had this big, gigantic light, and he poured some popcorn on, like popcorn seeds, and it started popping the popcorn. The whole place started smelling like popcorn.
And it was a good thing, except it started smelling like burnt popcorn because there were pieces of popcorn on there that weren't like going anywhere.
Yeah, they just kind of lay there, then they ended up burning. But so the whole second half of the show was about popcorn. So he's come out and he taught us how popcorn works. They took this balloon and put it in one of those things where, you know, like you would stuff the animal in and then blow it up, you know. You know, you go to Disney and you got those balloon inside of a balloon. This is how they do it.
Mm.
They got this big thing and it opens it up and they can stick it inside.
Mm-hmm.
Show, they have that, and you put all the ingredients in, like packing peanuts, and he put some crickets in.
Yeah, he put crickets in, and then he put a water balloon
In, a piece of rock.
Yeah, a piece of rock in there.
Which all represented the stuff that's inside of one of those little tiny popcorn things. Then they filled it with helium. And then they did.
They were quoting Shakespeare, like.
No, he said that's what he did in college. They used to quote Shakespeare. They'd drink beer,
and then they would
suck on helium balloons and quote Shakespeare. So
and then they did it.
So they did a little scene from Pulp Fiction, actually. They did the McDonald's scene from Pulp Fiction, if you all know what that is, where the Royale with cheese. But they did that with the helium, and it was very funny. But anyways, he took the balloon, they filled it up with helium, and the guy had to hold it above his head. And he went up there, his volunteer did, and then he got up there with the heat gun and was, you know, acting like it was the heat source, and the thing popped and went all over the dude.
And Alton was talking about how one time he was holding it, and the balloon popped and the rock hit him in the head.
Yeah. So that's why he stands on the ladder and the other dude does it now, because he don't want to.
Because he kept making the dude hold the balloon a little higher.
I mean, the guy kept kind of trying to hold it away from him, so he kept putting it back up by his head. But he did have a helmet on, so it was safer.
Yeah.
Then he brought out this thing a contraption that he built when he was a child. It was Astropop or something.
Mm-hmm.
and it was almost looked like a rocket, and it had 3-4 of those air poppers in the bottom, which he says air popper is not a unitasker because he is anti-unitasker. If you know what a unitasker is, it's something you can only use for one thing in the kitchen. So he does not like unitaskers. He likes things that can be used for multiple things.
And that's why he said something about a popcorn popper, and he was like, what all can you use a popcorn popper for?
And one lady said she cooks asparagus in it.
And then the guy that was sitting off to the side was like, that's the same girl that doesn't like bacon.
It was the same person that didn't like bacon, so she's a weirdo.
Yeah.
Anyways, he took those things and then, put the popcorn in it. It had a big chamber, so it would pop a bunch, and he could flip it over, and it would be in the lid. But then he realized that the reason he got these popcorn poppers because they were faulty, and it did catch fire.
He found them in the dumpster of a place, and he was like, wasn't it like 10 brand new?
Yeah, 10 brand new popcorn poppers. So
still in the box.
Still in the box, and there was a reason why they were thrown away, because they were faulty. So his mom kept the thing after they thought they threw it away. So she gave it to him a few years back, and one of his friends was like, hey, we could probably make this better. So they made this huge one. It was probably, 15 foot tall? It was massive, and it had 30-something?
Yeah, it had 30...
37 popcorn poppers, and at the top it's got this thing where you can automatically,
Yeah.
It automatically loads them and then it pops it. So the guys standing there with the bowl, the volunteer, and they kind of everybody was kind of backing away, and as it was cooking.
Because he was like, well, just stand here with the bowl and then it'll end up popping and then it'll go into the bowl. And the guy had his eyes closed and Alton backed up really far, and then he pressed the button on the little control thing, and it popped. Well, the lid opened and popcorn went everywhere.
All in the audience and everything.
And none of the popcorn got into the bowl.
Oh, just a little bit did.
Yeah, just a little bit of the popcorn got into the bowl.
But it went on because the guy didn't know it was coming because they were leaning it down at him. And it was
Yeah, they were leaning it down.
So that was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was about it on that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He come out and he did some question and answer stuff, and he did talk about Good Eats coming back in 2018. Yes, I'm excited about that.
There was some trivia before the show started. And the people behind us kept trying to answer them, and then if they got them wrong, they were like, "Aww."
Yeah, they weren't very good at it. So, other than that, then he came out and he did that, and he answered a few questions you had to tweet in.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to do it because I didn't want my picture up on the screen. Anyways, then he sang a few more songs. He said he was going to write a children's album at one point in time.
No.
But he got a couple songs into it and realized that it wasn't going to work. So he sang one of the songs off of that, and he sang a song about brining your turkey.
Grandma forgot to brine the turkey.
Grandma forgot to brine the turkey. So Grandma, you better start brining that turkey. Anyways, I had a great time. Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Would you go back?
Yes. It was a little inappropriate, though.
At times, that story about the dog was a
Yeah.
little funky, and there's a few other little minor things, but he didn't say bad things. He kind of led you on to you could kind of fill in the blanks yourself. So it's not like he cussed or.
He said the H word a few times, but that's not really a bad word. Oh no.
Anyways, I recommend you go.
At the end of the show, he did a song with his signers. It was funny.
Oh, that's right, because he said they were his backup singers, but they were signing.
Yeah. And that song
That was the children's song one, I think.
It was? No. No, the Grandma Forgot to Brine the Turkey was the children's song.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
Either way, they were funny songs. So I may try to look some of those albums up, see if I can find them, because they just sound interesting. Other than that, that's our trip report.
It was very fun.
Very fun. Very kind of a late evening for a weeknight.
I didn't get to sleep until after 11 o'clock. But I still had to go to school the next day.
You slept in the car, so did I.
No, you didn't.
How do you know? You were asleep. Alright, see you tomorrow. Have a ding-dang-tastic day.
Bye.
Bye.